So you stay on Grant Avenue and turn left at the second traffic light. Okay, now you go 1 block past the fire department, and we're on the left-hand side of the street. Okay, I'll see you at 6 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Your dad lost again?
He always has trouble finding his way here from work. He's just coming from home.
Down Spring Street.
Right.
I always tell people to look for the firehouse.
Lisa's always looking for the firemen.
Get lost, Mark.
Never. I know exactly where I'm going and exactly why I'm going there.
3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret, is the moment. When everything happens, contact is the answer, is the reason. Why everything happens, contact. Let's make contact. 3, 2, 1. Contact.
Twiggy? What's the matter?
I can't find my way to the engine room.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Today, we're supposed to talk about finding our way around. Now, the way to the engine room is to go down that way to the third door on the left, just past the cafeteria. You'll be able to spot the cafeteria, I'm sure. Then you go through the door, down the stairs, and there's the engine room.
Thanks.
What are you going to do there, anyway?
Nothing. I really want to get back to my puppy dog, but the only way I know how to get there is from the engine room.
What is that?
Hey,
I
what the
can't see
heck is
anything.
going on out there?
I can't see anything.
Never heard so much noise around here before. Oh, the hook and ladder truck is backed halfway out into the street and is blocking traffic in both directions.
Yeah, rush hour, too. Well, those drivers ought to know by now that when that happens, they should detour over onto Grove Avenue and out onto the highway at Main Street.
Well, not everybody knows their way around this area as well as we do.
That's the sound of a lot of angry drivers.
Do they really think making all that noise is going to get them where they want to go?
Well, some animals use sound to lead them where they want to go.
You lost me.
I don't follow you.
A dolphin could. Scientists have learned that dolphins speak to each other in a series of beeps and clicks. And they also use sound to help them map out their underwater world.
You spotted any dolphins?
No, not you?
No, we haven't seen any.
People have always loved dolphins because they're so friendly and seem so smart. Their brain, in fact, is as big as a person's. For over 10 years, researchers have been studying dolphins in captivity. They learned that even blindfolded, a dolphin can find its way around by making clicking sounds and listening for the echo as it bounces off objects. This is called sonar. In the dolphin's brain, the echoes become pictures. In a way, the dolphin sees with its ears. And they do this so well that, still blindfolded, they can find a tiny pellet on the bottom of the tank. Their sonar is so sharp that dolphins can tell the difference between a copper plate and an aluminum one. The plates sound different to the dolphins when the clicks bounce off them. This dolphin was trained to touch the copper one on our left. Will his sonar work if we switch the plates? Got it.
Bats use sound to guide themselves around, too.
Bats don't get to eat chocolate cake.
Why do they call it batter?
Animals are good at finding their way to food. My dog comes running from nowhere when I put her food dish down.
I bet she's got a better sense of direction than your father.
Jackie can find her way. She can find her way to a fresh bone in someone's garbage 3 or 4 blocks from our house.
But can she come home and tell you where it is?
Why would I want to know?
If you were a bee, you'd want to know where the pollen is.
Buzz off.
You're the bee man, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
We've got about 2,000 bees right here in an observation hive.
Those things don't come out of there?
Oh, no, they can't get out. There's a screen over the hole there. The only way they can get out is through this tube over here. They run outside and then come back in through this tube.
Wow, there's a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
Look at them all. Now, what is it you're trying to do here?
Well, we're trying to figure out how the bees communicate with one another, because they can, once they've found a food source that they think is profitable, they'll come back and communicate to other bees the distance and direction.
How do they do that?
Well, it all starts when one bee decides she's going to go out and look for a new food source. She'll take a little honey to keep her going, and then head out through this tube right down here and outside.
And what's on the other side of the tube?
Well, that leads out into the fields. Hey, Mark, this is the hive entrance where the bees leave and return from the field with their food.
Now, most of these bees here are the older workers.
That's right. The workers bring in all the food, the nectar and pollen. Drones and queens don't do any work at all.
And how old are these guys now?
These are from 3 to 6 weeks old. Generally, they're burnt out by the end of 6 weeks.
I also see that some of the bees have some yellow stuff on their legs. What's that?
Yeah, that's pollen. That's the protein that they eat. They go out and forage that from flowers and carry it back to the hive. We can follow one of these bees out to the feeder we have set up. Once they've found a good food source, they just cruise back and forth all day. This is a feeder that we've set out for our bees from our hive to forage at. We set it out so that we know what distance and what direction they're going.
Doesn't look much like a flower to me, but they seem to be happy with it. And what do you have inside of the bottle?
That's sugar water, just regular sugar mixed with water. It's a lot more concentrated than most nectar that they would get from flowers. About 5 times as concentrated. In order to know which bee is which, as you can see, they all look almost identical. We put these little numbers on there. When they're feeding, they concentrate very much on feeding, so they don't notice when you poke around with it. I have some numbers here. I just take a little of the glue, put a little glue on the end of this stick, touch it to the bee very gently, and if you do it gently enough, they won't fly away. Then take another stick, moisten the end, pick up the number, and glue it to the bee's back. And they get used to it fairly quickly, and then just spend the rest of their lives with their little number on their back.
Have you ever been stung doing that?
No.
No?
No. When they're at a feeder station, they're very, very friendly. You could even reach in and touch them. There you go. See? They fly a little bit, but they won't sting you.
Yeah. How long will they feed here?
Oh, they'll only stay here about 30 seconds, perhaps as long as a minute, and they'll fill up completely with the sugar water, and then they'll head straight back to the hive.
Why do they do that?
Well, they want to take the food that they've got here back to the hive, leave it there, and come back for more. And while they're back at the hive, they'll tell the other bees where the food is so they can come out and get some too.
How?
Well, let's go see. Okay. The way the bees do it is to perform a little dance, which the other bees watch. And as a matter of fact, here's one right here. If you look a little closer, you can see that the bee is waggling her entire body as she cuts up here to the left, and then she turns around, follows the same line over again. See that? And you'll see that there are other bees which are following the dance, and they're getting the information out of the dance to tell which way to go to get to the food source.
Now, how does that wiggling tell the rest of the bees where the food source is?
There are 2 things that the bee has to communicate to the other bees. One of them is the direction to go in, and the other is how far to go. So you'll see that the bee, when she does this little waggle run, she'll do it time after time in the same direction. And that direction tells the other bees the direction to fly in. And in this case, you can see the bees are dancing around, let's say 45 degrees or so to the left. And so the bees that are watching the dance will go out, and they see the sun, and they'll fly just that amount to the left of the sun. Okay, so that tells them which direction to go in. The way they tell how far to go is by counting the number of times that the bees waggle their abdomen back and forth. See? In this race of honeybees, each waggle corresponds to about 25 yards. So they'll count, I guess in this case, say 16 waggles, which is about 400 yards. So what the bees will do after they've watched the dance is they'll head out, look for the sun, go 45 degrees to the left of the sun, then they'll fly 400 yards and start looking around for a food source.
Very smart, very smart. You know, I never would have thought that by looking at all these bees, anything was happening in there. But from just looking at it, I can almost tell exactly where that bee was. Let me see if I can do it.
Where she was feeding, right?
Yeah. Well, it's actually the same as the other bee. She's about 45 degrees. It's hard to count those waggles, though. I'd have to be a bee to do that.
Yeah.
I get confused every time I go back to Puerto Rico. There's so much new building around my grandmother's house. The neighborhood's changing, and I can't find my way around.
At least you speak the language. You can always ask directions.
Yeah, and you can see where you're going.
If you know where you want to go.
Ever imagine what it would be like if you couldn't?
You mean like pretending you were blind?
Yeah.
Hey, you know, we used to play this game when we were walking home from school sometimes when we were kids. Hold still.
Hey, you know, this makes you realize how much there is to getting around that we take for granted. Lottie? Hi, how you doing? I'm Mark.
Yeah, how you doing? Okay.
Good, okay. I'm going to spend the day with you. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Great, great. I'll just follow
My
you
name is
a little
Lottie,
bit,
and I'm in my last year of junior high school.
Is that all right?
I wasn't born totally blind. I had some sight. I remember when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I could see letters and colors. Now I can just see light and shadows,
Everything's doing okay.
but it doesn't mean I can't get around.
Can you show me around? Do you know which room this is here?
Yeah, that's the boys' bathroom, and it's 219.
219, you got that one. And which one is this one?
That's a closet, and it's 217.
You're right, sure is. What about this one right here?
That's the girls' bathroom, and that's 215.
How did you know each one of those rooms? Do you memorize it?
You know, whenever I needed help, I would ask somebody, what room is this and what room is that, and they would tell me, and I just remembered.
Uh-huh. So what do? You count the steps from one room to the other?
No, I just count the rooms, and I know that each room is, on this side of the hallway is an odd-numbered room.
Uh-huh. Oh, and then on the other side are
The even numbers. And they all go down by 2 on this side, you know, because it's 19, 17, 15.
Well, you're right. Okay, what's down the rest of the hallway? Can you show me there?
This way?
Yeah,
Okay.
straight down here. I noticed that you never tap your cane back and forth. I've seen some blind people, they tap their cane back and forth.
Yeah.
You kind of run it along the crack of the wall there, like right in there.
Yeah.
How come?
Well, it's a lot better if you keep it against the wall, because if you keep it apart and you walk like that, it'll just like veer like that. Instead, if you keep it against the rim, you always have a guideline for your cane.
And what about in the street? Would you normally just tap it back and forth?
Yeah, in the street we tap it back and forth.
And you just use your hand against the wall to guide yourself?
Yeah, like that.
Uh-huh. Just to keep it alongside. Now, I noticed you hit that right there. Do you know what room it is?
Yeah, that's 254.
Now, when you hit the corner right there, what does that tell you? What does that tell you when you hit in a corner like that?
Some doors, when you hit them like that and you continue like that, there's a wall right there.
Oh, I see.
I put my cane like that, and I feel away, and then I feel down like that to see if I can go on.
Do you get a sense of how big this place is? Because it's pretty large.
Yeah, you can tell because you can hear that it's because of the echo. You know, if you talk, you hear sort of like an echo in the background.
Do you get a sense that there's some trees in here, too?
Yeah, you can hear the leaves rustling.
Oh, you mean like right up in here?
Yeah. You just hear the leaves rustling in here.
Uh-huh.
That's how you could tell there are trees there.
Yeah. Now, over here, there's some dirt right in here.
Yeah, that's dirt.
How do you tell that's dirt?
Well, it's sort of soft, right? And
Now, if you were in here all by yourself, how would you navigate this place?
I would trace this with my cane like that, like I was doing inside.
Right.
I just traced the place so I know where I was going.
Oh, and then you'd get an idea of a picture of it in your head.
Yeah, and then I would just follow that picture. Little by little, I would learn how to go around it perfectly.
So it's like making an imaginary map.
Yeah.
You ever check out this globe? Is this specifically for you?
Not specifically for everybody. I mean, everybody can use this globe.
Because I noticed it's got a lot of ridges on it and everything. It's raised like most globes aren't.
These raised parts right here, these are mountains. If these are Rocky Mountains, right? If you go to the west, over here is the equator, right here.
Down here?
Yeah, right, that line right here.
How'd you know that?
Well, you see, because up here is the Tropic of Cancer, which is exactly 23 degrees north of the equator, and down here is the Tropic of Capricorn, which is exactly 23 degrees south of the equator, and there are 3 lines between it. So I naturally picked the middle line.
And that's the equator?
That's the equator. 5 or 6 months after I learned how to use a cane, that you started to teach me how to cross the streets.
There's something coming, but I think we're all right. We got the light here. It's green.
Well,
And now we're going to cross over this way here, over 6th Avenue.
and then when I come to a street, I usually just square off. It means to, like, get yourself straight before you cross.
Right.
And just check with my cane to see if I'm straight, right? And when that traffic goes on your side, I go with the traffic.
Oh, this traffic over here on the right?
Yeah, when that goes, I go with the traffic. He's going, I can cross.
So you've got to listen for it.
Yeah, I've got to have total concentration.
It does take a lot of concentration, doesn't it?
It does.
I feel that I've learned a lot since I started to use a cane, but not everything yet. I'm not even halfway through yet. I'm going to take buses and I'll take trains. I'd probably be scared at first, you know, because I wouldn't know how to find a seat and how to find out what bus it is and where the money goes. But I'll get there.
Hey, I have no doubt about that.
I'm sure that as I get older, I'll be able to travel to the store, go to work, and, you know, go to school. But that's not all that I want to do. I want to get out. I want to see the world. I want to see what life has to offer. I want to meet new people, travel in different environments. And that's why I'm learning to travel, to see the world for myself.
Hey, I wonder who that is. I'll get it. Hold on. Hey, Laddie, how are you?
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good. Glad you came over. Let me close the door.
Okay, hold on a second, please.
Let
me get this.
Come on over and I'll show you the place and I'll introduce you to my friends.
Okay.
Hey, Laddie.
Laddie, this is Lisa.
Well, how you doing?
And right next to her is Trini.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine.
Let me show you around a little bit.
Hey, wait a second. I'll move this chair right
No,
here.
that's okay. Once I know it's there, I got a picture of it in my head.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And there's another one right there.
Oh,
See?
okay. This is where you want me to sit, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it. How'd you get over here anyway?
Oh, well, I came by car today, but I'm learning how to take public transportation.
Really? How do you plan your route? I mean, how do you know how to get to where you're going to go?
Well, I just use this train map right here. And,
Is this braille?
Oh,
that's neat. Well, does it tell you what the train stations are?
Yeah, it tells you, like, where the train goes and what stops it makes.
What does it say right there?
Well, at the top it says New York City subway train map, right?
That's good to hear.
Now, then it tells you, let's say, the F train. It says the first stop is 52nd Street, and the second stop is 42nd Street, you know, and so on. It tells you where it's going, uptown or downtown.
And how does that help you get from one place to another?
Well, I read how many stops I have to go from my house to some other place.
Yeah.
And I count the stops when I'm on the train, and I get off at the stop I'm supposed to.
So you have to know how many stops there are between your stop and where you're going.
Right.
When you're outside, don't you get turned around? How do you know which way is north or south or east or west?
Well, I could tell by the position of the sun on certain times of the day.
Like?
In the morning, rise in the east, and in the afternoon it's in the south, and in the evening it's in the west.
But what happens when it's cloudy out?
Yeah.
Well, you just decide not to go out because you won't be able to tell too many directions.
Or else you go out and you just don't get turned around, right? You use your other senses to help you find your way around?
Well,
Like if you walk into a room, do you do special things to try and get a sense of where you are?
well, first I can tell the size of a room by my hearing. The hearing, you can tell how big a room is because the smaller the room, your sound the bigger room, the sound's gonna echo more, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You go to a special school?
No, I don't. I go to public school.
Oh, you go with regular
Yeah,
classroom?
regular classroom, yeah.
And kids that can see?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that difficult for you then?
No, not really. I do everything the other kids do. Whenever they get, whenever they get homework, I take the homework, and I have somebody copy it down for me off the board first.
Yeah.
Then I bring it down to my teacher, and she puts it in braille.
Well, what's your favorite subject?
Well, my favorite subject is science.
I have no idea what I'd do if I were on the street and didn't exactly know where I was,
Well,
how I'd get around.
Yeah.
How would you like to try it?
Sure, definitely.
All right.
We've tried
You
it
want
before.
I gotta see.
Yeah.
Hey, leave your book on the chair. Watch me
All
move
right.
to be a map.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, I'll blindfold you like I did before. Okay, here you go.
Ready? Okay.
Confusing. Do you want to spin him around, Laddie?
No, you get the pleasure.
Okay.
I thought you were my buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, right.
All right, now can you tell where you are?
I have no idea where I am.
Tell me, can you
Okay.
feel the heat of the lights?
No, I can't feel that.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard somebody sit in a beanbag.
That was me.
Oh, I thought it was Laddie. All right, where are you?
I'm here.
You're there? Okay, that means that, the TV over there?
Yeah. Close, yeah.
Close?
Uh-huh.
Well, then the door would be like there.
Well, no, it's more like over there.
It's over there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that means that the lockers are over there.
That was me.
Sorry about that. The lockers are there,
Right?
and the kitchen is right back there.
Cake, I forgot all about it.
All
I just made it mindful.
We all know that.
Yeah. I knew I could sniff it out.
Hey, I didn't know you were a bloodhound.
Whenever there's trouble, we're there on the double. We're the Bloodhound Gang. If you've got the crime, we've got the time. We're the Bloodhound Gang.
The Bloodhound Gang was hired to make sure there was no trickery when Princess Tomorrow predicted the results of a future horse race. Vicky noticed that Professor Diablo had moistened the flap of the envelope with his tongue, but used a sponge to wet the stamp.
From this moment, my hands will not touch the Princess Tomorrow's prediction.
The princess's prediction was sealed in an envelope and mailed to the Bloodhound Agency for safekeeping. Back at the office, Vicky experiments to try to find out what was wrong with the way Professor Diablo handled the envelope the day before. Now for the next episode of The Case of Princess Tomorrow.
It's here.
No one's jimmied the seal. Everything looks on the up and square, Professor.
I remind you, my hands have not touched the envelope, yes? Break the seal. Open the envelope. Last night's newspaper, the results at Emerald Meadows. Read out, please. 8th race.
B flat was the winner. Paid $4.40. Ran it in 1 minute and 42 seconds.
Winner, B flat, 440, 142.
Place and show. Candy stick, La Bruja Blanco.
Candy stick, La Bruja Blanco.
Hey.
Right on the button. You can really do it. Hey, pony up, boys. The little lady here, the princess, might be persuaded to go back into that trance and give us the results of this afternoon's races.
Gentlemen, gentlemen, that would not be proper. This was only a scientific experiment.
Would 25,000 make it proper? Boys, peel off some bank rags. Are you in, Longshot?
I'll pass, Downtown Fats. I never won a dime on a sure thing.
How about you, Diamond Dan?
Count me in. She may be able to look into the future, but she sure doesn't know Spanish.
What's wrong?
Look at the name she wrote for that horse, La Bruja Blanco. The Spanish endings don't match. It's got to be La Bruja Blanca.
Here you go, Professor. 25,000.
All right, just this once, gentlemen. Kindly be seated.
How about the third race? My felly Crazy Feet's running.
Princess, if you please. Gajibidi bimba zimba bimba. Do you see the third race, Princess? Do you see the winners? Let the spirits guide your hand. To win, Hey Burner the Third. To show, Crazy Feet. To plays, Storm Along. Come on, boys, let's get rich quick.
I'd hate to be in your shoes if they get poor quick.
Well, service is rendered.
I'll write you a receipt.
Don't bother.
I insist.
Nothing. Just water.
Look, Abruja Blanco. The newspaper spelled the name of the horse wrong, too.
You mean Princess Tomorrow predicted a mistake in the newspaper?
But the envelope was sealed hours before the newspaper was printed, Vicky.
She copied it somehow. The whole thing's a fake.
I bet they skipped town. Zach, we better hang around here and tail them.
Keep in touch with the office. I'll be stamping envelopes. I think it's got something to do with how they did it.
Can the Bloodhound Gang prove it's a swindle? Tune in tomorrow for the conclusion of the case of Princess Tomorrow.
Today we've seen some of the special ways animals have of knowing where to go when they travel around. And we've learned that people have some pretty special ways too, even when they can't see.
My dad should be here any minute now. Do you guys want a lift? Oh, yeah, I could use one. Thanks.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, I live on Metropolitan Avenue. Is that out of your way?
Not at all. I'll take it. Oh, okay. I'll get it. Hello? No, Dad, you're supposed to make a left at the traffic light. Okay, we'll be here. We spent the whole afternoon talking about different ways people find their way around. My dad doesn't know any of them. I don't believe he's still lost. 321 Contact is a production of the Children's Television Workshop.